T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff of Starlink. Go Falcon, go Starlink. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds, F9 has successfully lifted off from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral, Florida at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. The next major milestone coming up is max Q, which is when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of external stress as it ascends through the Earth's atmosphere.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Just heard that Falcon 9 is supersonic, which means it is now traveling faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
There you just heard that call from max Q, which again is when the rocket experiences the largest amount of external stress. We're now about 1 minute away from a series of key back-to-back events. There's MECO, or main engine cutoff, stage separation, SES-1, or second engine start 1, and then fairing separation. MECO, or main engine cutoff, is when all 9 of the Merlin engines on the first stage shut down. Stage separation is when the first and second stages separate from one another. SES-1, or second engine start 1, is where we light the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage, and then it's followed by fairing separation, which is when the two fairing halves separate and fall away from the second stage. So let's keep an eye out for those events, as they're going to happen pretty quickly back to back.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
So as you just saw and heard over the nets, we had successful MECO, stage separation, and SES-1. We're coming up on fairing separation from the second stage in just a few seconds. You can see two of the grid fins on the left-hand side of your screen. Those are deploying on stage 1.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Both of the fairing halves that supported today's mission are flying for the second time, and we'll be attempting to recover both fairing halves using our recovery vessel, Bob. So we'll have intermittent views of stage 1, but we do have a great view of stage 2. So currently the first stage is on its way back to Earth towards our drone ship, a short fall of Gravitas, and that MVAC engine that's attached to the second stage is continuing its burn, which will last another few minutes.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Nominal trajectory.
Designed and manufactured by SpaceX, Starlink is the world's largest satellite internet constellation. Starlink satellites operate in low Earth orbit, or LEO, which enables the delivery of high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe. Starlink is currently live in 62 countries and 78 markets around the world. As I mentioned earlier, today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's 50th mission just this year and 249th mission overall. Coming up next in the mission is the entry burn on the first stage, which is the first of 2 burns it'll go through in preparation for landing.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
There's that call out for stage 1 entry burn. The booster has reignited engines 1, 5, and 9 to help it slow down for atmospheric reentry.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there you just saw and heard that call out that entry burn on the first stage has now completed.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
If you take a look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see that stage 1 is continuing to slow down, whereas on the right-hand side, you can see that stage 2 continues to increase speed.
Stage 1 transonic.
There's that call that the first stage is transonic, which means it's traveling near the speed of sound. Coming up in a few seconds will be the landing burn on stage 1 before it touches down on our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Expected loss of signal, Cape J6 and PPF.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
This Falcon 9 first stage has now successfully launched and landed for its 15th time. Now we're coming up on second engine cutoff in a couple of seconds.
MVAC shutdown.